So I mostly spent that money on movies and hang out with my friends, and I just enjoyed my entire BTech. And academically, I barely managed to get pass marks. Sometimes I'd get a call, and as soon as they heard that I had 90 days notice period at TCS, they'd just run away. So, but I took a bit of a risk. I decided to put down my papers without having any offer in hand. And I set my notice period to 45 days in all the platforms. And I noticed something interesting. I started getting way more interview calls only when I mentioned I was serving notice with around 30 to 45 days left. So for any data engineering interview, I would say like around 70 to 80% of your interview will be on SQL and data warehouse concepts. And in some cases, it even can reach to 24 to 25 LPA fixed component,
Fixed one.
depending on your negotiation skills and the number of offers you already have in hand.
If you have worked at service-based companies like TCS, Infosys, Wipro and many others, then I'm pretty sure you know the different kind of challenges you have to go through if you are planning to switch into a good product-based companies or startups. And I have got these kind of questions many times that Shashank, how to deal with this kind of situation, and I'm really glad that you will be getting all these kind of answers in today's podcast, because our guest speaker has actually done it, coming from a non-CS background, no job after completing the graduation, off campus job opportunity, he cracked it first, then moved into the data engineering role with amazing salary package, and in between he also had to go through with that service kind of company challenges. So yes, he faced it. He will share all the tips, tricks, strategies he followed, how you can tune your Naukri profile, LinkedIn profile, the best ways to get the recruiter's attention, dealing with the notice period thing, right? So all those things he's gonna talk about, plus the interview experiences in startup for the data engineering role. So lots of interesting point he is going to share today. So make sure to watch it till the very end and like it in the big numbers. And if you're new to the channel and watching this podcast for the very first time, then smash the subscribe button and press the notification icon for more such type of videos. And I'm super excited to announce that I am launching the very first batch of GCP Data Engineering Mastery Live Classroom Bootcamp on the Grow Data Skills. This will be the very first batch, and similar to this one, we had a AWS services with the projects bootcamp as well, where the focus was AWS services plus the top-notch industrial projects. So similarly, this will be the 6-week live classroom bootcamp, and our focus gonna be those GCP services which data engineers use very frequently to build the scalable data pipeline. We will deep dive into each service and we will create top-notch scalable data pipelines on the GCP as well. So bootcamp is live now, admissions are open, live classes will be starting from the 26th of April. And to make this bootcamp very impactful, I have kept very limited seats in this bootcamp. So those are filling very fast. You can find the link in the description to enroll today, or you can visit www.growdataskills.com. and just for my YouTube family, there is a early bird offer. You can use code GCP30. So starting 30 folks will be getting exclusive discount offer, and giving you the quick overview of the curriculum. And obviously, you know how we keep the things affordable at the Grow Data Skills. You will be getting the certificate of completion as well. Live doubt support will be there after the live classes as well, and private Discord community for the offline doubt support as well. So these are the things you are going to get in this bootcamp. And the tech stack curriculum will be this one. You can see we will be starting from the setup of GCP free tier account, the Google Cloud Storage, then Google functions, moving on to the GCP Cloud Scheduler, then coming to the GCP PubSub and the GCP Cloud SQL, Bigtable, CDC on top of it. After that, we will move on to the Dataproc, running the PySpark scripts, Data Fusion for streaming, then BigQuery, in-depth, Composer like Airflow for scheduling, dedicated industrial projects part, the dedicated placement assistance as well, where I'll help you in the resume preparation, LinkedIn profile, job hunting. You can see such kind of amazing success stories on your screen, that how our students are making us proud by cracking top tier companies with the packages of more than 1 CR, 2 CR. And yes, you can also do that. So make sure to enroll in the GCP Data Engineering Mastery Live Classroom Bootcamp. Link is in the description. So thank you so much, Charan, for joining me in this podcast. Really excited to have you here and discuss about your journey in the data domain. But it would be really good if you can give a short introduction about yourself, like your past background, education, where you worked, and currently where you are working.
Hi Shashank, thanks for having me here. I am 𝗠𝗲𝗱𝗶𝗹, currently working as a data engineer at a Bangalore-based startup called 𝗝cie𝗶𝗶. I joined them in February 2025. The company mainly focuses on building customized AI solutions for different businesses. So coming to my educational background, I did my BTech in Electrical and Electronics Engineering from 𝗲cie𝗶𝗶 Engineering College, Tirupati, and graduated in 2021. I started my career with the TCS right after the college, initially as a Java backend developer, but later I transitioned into data engineer role. I spent almost 3 years then working as a data engineer.
Charan, like you mentioned, you did your graduation in 2021 from BTech 𝗃𝗃E stream. So I am very curious to know what were your plans for the future by that time, because no CS stream, IT stream sort of thing, right? And after that, like, how did you get the opportunity to land in your first job, your profile, what sort of work you were doing, and how much they were actually paying you?
Yes. So yeah, it was a bit of roller coaster ride, to be honest. So back in my second year BTech, like in 2018, I got an opportunity to work as a check tutor for electrical engineering and computer science as well. At that point, I know a little bit of Python and computer science fundamentals, so I used it to solve few questions from there. So basically, Check is an online platform where students from all over the world post subject-related questions. My
Right.
tutors provide handwritten solutions. I used to earn around 5,000 to 10,000 per month, which felt like a lot at that time during all my BTech. So I mostly spent that money on movies and hanging out with my friends, and I just enjoyed my entire BTech with that money. And academically, I barely managed to get pass marks. Yeah, in my third year, I tried joining GATE coaching as well for electrical and electronics engineering, but it didn't go well. I hardly attended 5 to 10 classes, so I wasted 50,000 rupees there. Over the next 2 years, yeah. Then during COVID, I focused more on doing check and started upskilling myself more in Python. So I got pretty decent at coding in Python. Although I didn't follow any structured learning path like DSA, I mostly focused on solving the question using brute force method without any
Okay.
DSA and all. So in my final year, I gave TCS 𝗏𝗏𝗃 exam. So 𝗏𝗏𝗃 exam is a global level coding competition conducting by TCS every year. I secured an all world rank of around 3,000 there, and based on
Awesome.
that, yeah, and I based on that, I got selected for TCS Ninja role. So it's a basic role, like they will be giving a 3.36 LPA role. Later, I cleared another coding round and got upgraded to TCS Digital.
Okay.
And yeah, so and that time I'm still in my fourth year, second semester. Apart from TCS, I also got a few more offers from other MNCs like Infosys, Wipro, and Accenture. But I decided to join TCS since they were offering a 7.6 LPA package. That was a big deal for me, especially considering that I was from a tier 3 college student and a non-CS background student and a below average student throughout my BTech.
There was any moment where you went through these kind of thoughts that looks like I have wasted very golden period of mine. So will I be even able to work in the IT industry, or I'm very confused that where I am heading in my future? Like, were there any thoughts like that?
Uh, Actually speaking, I haven't got any that kind of thoughts. Like since I was aiming for the gate itself, like but when I got introduced to Python and this computer science stuff, I neglected the gate itself.
As you mentioned, like in the TCS, you got the role around the software engineering and mostly worked at the Java side. So you started your career as a Java developer. Now the interesting point is, how did your journey started as a full-time data engineer? Did you already explore this domain a bit during your college time or maybe after that? So share that journey, like how that was first step in this domain.
Yes, so honestly, it was completely coincidental. Initially, I got mapped to a Java backend role at TCS and stayed there for about 3 to 4 months only. But I wasn't really into Java, so I requested them to move me to a Python-based project. Yeah, I don't know anything about data science, data engineering, and anything about data domain. I just want a project based on Python.
Okay.
Okay. Because at that time Python was the only programming language I was comfortable with since I was a non-CS background. That's it. And luckily or unluckily, depending on how I see it, they moved me into a data engineering project. From there, I continued working as a data engineer for about 2 to 2.5 years. And while working in that data engineering role, I realized two things about myself. Like I'm good at math, especially differential calculus part, and I really enjoy coding Python. So I thought, why not try something that combines both math and Python? So that's when I discovered about machine learning and started diving into it. I built a few end-to-end machine learning projects as well, including front-end dashboards using Streamlit library. But honestly, I never got many interview calls for machine learning. Maybe maybe I didn't know how to apply the right way, or maybe it was just bad timing. Sometimes I'd get a call, and as soon as they heard that I had 90 days notice period at TCS, they'd just run away. And after spending around 1 to 1.5 years trying to switch into ML, I finally thought, okay, let me double down on what I'm already doing. That's when I got serious about data engineering and started specifically for roles in that direction.
How was your first face-to-face interaction with the data engineering? I mean, you were interested in a Python sort of project, but data engineering involves a lot of things. So when you explored or deep dive more into this domain, how did you like find it? It was complex to understand in the beginning. You were facing challenges and you were like, this could be my wrong decision as well. So what was your mindset and thought process when you first looked into data engineering?
Yes, the first time when I got introduced to the data engineering, frankly speaking, is very understandable compared to machine learning and those and all. Because data engineering is nothing but software development with data.
Correct.
So we are writing a software development only, but on top of the data, we are writing like building the data pipelines and this and all stuff.
Correct.
So I really enjoyed doing it, but I wanted to do something complex like building a machine learning models. But later I found out that data engineering is the best way. Currently, the market is also very good for data engineering compared to any other data domain. Data domains.
Yeah, people can learn easily if they are putting the right amount of effort and not too much complexities are there. Plus, job openings are,
Yes.
at least for the entry level freshers, I have seen openings are there. But if you are coming for like ML, data science, these kind of background, then for entry level freshers, this becomes very, very challenging. Right, you have to have a very, very top notch portfolio, probably, then it can seek someone's attention. Recently, like you cracked multiple data engineering offers based on our first conversation, and now started working in a startup for data engineering role. So how did this switch happen from service based company like TCS? What kind of challenges did you face? I want to understand this part mainly because I have heard a lot from the folks who are coming from Wipro, TCS, these kind of companies, like they find it very difficult to switch because of a lot of challenges. So help us to understand that part.
Yes. So the biggest challenge for me was the notice period at TCS.
Okay.
So it's quite long by default, right? So, but I took a bit of a risk. I decided to put down my papers without having any offer in hand. And I set my notice period to 45 days in all the platforms.
Okay.
Before even resigning, I had already started brushing up on the core skills needed for data engineering, like SQL, Apache Spark, data warehousing concepts, and cloud fundamentals. And I focused more on hands-on practice rather than just theory.
Okay.
So thankfully, once my notice period started, I began getting a good number of interview calls, like at least 3 or 4 calls per week.
Okay.
And I managed to crack multiple offers from MNCs, product-based companies, and even startups. After evaluating all the options, I chose to join a startup because I felt it would give me more exposure, great ownership, and fast learning.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, like, was putting down the paper like was your first thought, or before that you already tried your level best that okay, maybe with 90 days notice period you can get some interview calls? So, what platforms you were using and you are not getting calls for the job hunting?
Yes. So what really gave me the courage was a mix of observation and self-confidence. Before actually resigning, I had optimized my Naukri and LinkedIn profiles, and I noticed something interesting. I started getting way more interview calls only when I mentioned I was serving notice with around 30 to 45 days left. Even before officially resigning, I had already been giving interviews on the side to just test my ability.
Okay.
And surprisingly, I was getting positive feedback in most of them. So that gave me a lot of confidence, and I realized, okay, if I can get this kind of response even without resigning, I'll definitely have better chances once I do. So without overthinking, in November 2024, I just put on my papers without any offer in hand and gave myself 45 days to crack something. Yeah, and I cracked a few offers, and that mindset of trusting my preparation and believing in my potential really helped me to take that step.
That's really awesome. So, end conclusion from your experiences, like 30 to 45 days of notice period can bring more number of interview calls rather than if you are putting 90 days. That will like be horrible.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. You have to keep the option as serving notice period, and you are and 30 to 45 days left in the current notice period. If you keep like that, at least for data engineering, you will get at least 3 or 4 calls per week.
Now, a very important question, Charan. In your overall experience, right? You worked at TCS, Explore, data engineering, data science, and obviously now in the startup. And considering current demand of the industry, what kind of data engineering roadmap or skills did you acquire step by step? I mean, consider it like a question coming from a fresher or a very entry level fresher who is stepping into the data engineering, considering the modern rapid changes in the tech stack and the modern boom of AI, etc., whatever it is. So, if you can guide all the viewers based on experience, will be helpful.
So for any data engineering interview, I would say like around 70 to 80% of your interview will be on SQL and data warehousing concepts. One should have thorough understanding of solving all kinds of SQL queries, be it normal joins or complex window functions, and data warehousing concepts like facts and dimensions, or like data modeling, along with how to implement slowly changing dimensions, SCD 0, 1, or 2. You should be ready to explain the implementation of SCD types as well. So
Okay.
this constitutes 70 to 80% of your data engineering interview. The next important thing is your project. You need to explain it in a clear and concise way. Be prepared to face any kind of questions related to it. For example, they might ask, after explaining your project, they might ask, where is the fault tolerance implemented in your pipeline? And they might ask, where is the data governance and data quality have you implemented in your project? So be ready to face these kind of questions and prepare them accordingly. And DSA. DSA is definitely an added advantage, but basic Python knowledge is must, especially with linear data structures like strings, lists, dictionaries, and linked lists, stacks, and queues. So these linear data structures knowledge should be must, and every data engineer should be comfortable with this.
Okay.
And then comes the elephant in the room, Spark. You need to understand like Spark architecture, like what is a master node, what is a worker node, and how they communicate each other. And the Spark internals like lazy validation and understanding the DAX, generated DAX, and Spark configuration questions like based on the size of the data, how you calculate the number of cores, number of nodes, memory calculation, memory allocation, etc.
Okay.
And more importantly, Spark optimization techniques like broadcasting, caching, persisting, partitioning, and bucketing. You should be in a state where you can explain these with real world examples and how you used them in your project.
Okay.
While explaining, and I give you another tip, like while explaining these, you should try to communicate using numbers. For example, you have to say like after applying this kind of optimization, my job execution time reduced by 20%. If you try to communicate in that number way, the interviewer can really feel that you have actually worked on these things.
Right.
Yeah, these are the few observations that I have observed like after giving like 10 to 15 interviews. Yeah.
Very helpful advices. I have a small follow-up question. So, in the recent time, in multiple job description, specifically product-based companies and services as well, there is a lot of push towards the cloud platforms, Databricks, Snowflake, CI/CD processes. So, what do you feel the necessity of these things for an entry level fresher like, getting into data engineering? How much they should focus on this part, and maybe after which phase?
Yes. So for entry level, the things that I have mentioned is a must before even learning about the cloud, like Azure or AWS and the serverless services or the data engineering services they provide. You first concentrate on the things that I have mentioned before, like basic understanding the Spark fundamentals, Spark theoretical concepts, and basic Python, and more importantly SQL and data warehousing concepts. And after that, you can move into the clouds. So
Okay.
basically now mostly 95% of the projects are running in the cloud. I would what I feel after giving so many interviews. So yeah, first be confident on these concepts like on-premises concepts, and after that you can go with the cloud.
So, based on your experience, if you have to suggest one cloud platform a beginner should start with, I mean, it could be anything related to like ease of learn, free trial account, etc., etc. So, what do you think? What they can pick in the beginning, and after that, I guess learning other cloud platform would be a matter of few weeks, not
Yes,
more than
yes,
that.
yes, yeah,
But what would be that
yes.
one to start with?
Currently, what I observed is like out of 100 calls for data engineering, 80 plus calls are for Azure. That's
Wow.
what I observed. So at least for in my case, I received like more like 80% of the calls for Azure only.
So,
So I think for any beginner who is going to start with the cloud for the data engineering, at least for the data engineering, he might go like he might choose Azure.
got it.
That will be a good start.
Okay, so during the last question, you talked about the DSA a bit. So, how did you prepare for DSA, and can you share what is the scope of it in the data engineering interviews and maybe problems as well? And how much DSA expected for a data engineer during the technical discussion?
Yes. So yeah, during my machine learning preparation in 2022 to 23, I also focused a bit on DSA. I used to solve problems on lead code. I have solved around 320 questions so far in lead code.
Okay.
So I would say like I'm pretty comfortable with easy to medium level lead code DSA questions, like basic standard questions. And I think everyone should have at least a basic understand of standard concepts like linear data structures, like as I mentioned, lists, dictionaries, tuples, stacks, queues, and linked list. And also you should have a knowledge on the recursion and basic backtracking, DFS and BFS algorithms, binary trees, and simple 1D dynamic programming, not in depth.
Okay.
So I have given a good number of interviews, and honestly, I haven't come across any in-depth DSC questions in data engineering interviews.
I
The
see.
most I was asked was maybe a binary search tree question and a backtracking question. That too not too complex, like it's a basic standard question. So I'd say don't go much deeper in DSC, especially for data engineers. If you are aiming for a data engineering role, instead focus more on core data engineering concepts like SQL, Spark, Cloud, and data modeling. But but having DSA knowledge gives you a real edge over other candidates and also builds your confidence during the interviews.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with your points because same thing I have experienced. So no need to get the competitive programmer level of expertise. Like
Yes.
if you are lying between easy to medium DSA questions, that would be good enough. And yeah, focus on the core
Yes.
data engineering is important. Again, very important question of this podcast. So based on your latest interview experiences, and since you cracked the startup as well, product based companies, can you share your detailed interview experience as well? Like how many rounds were there, and in each round, what kind of questions were being asked? So this can help all the viewers as well.
So yeah, so when it comes to 𝗏𝗃, so I went through 5 rounds of interviews. So the first one was a screening round taken by the HR, mostly focusing on Spark concepts. She asked questions and gave multiple choices, and I need to pick the appropriate one.
Okay.
And after successful completion of the screening round, the second one was a technical discussion one taken by a team lead. It focused on a Python question related to dictionaries, followed by questions on time and space complexity of the solution. and a couple of aptitude questions to assess my analytical ability, and basic Spark concepts like cluster configuration and optimization techniques, and some data warehousing concepts. And third one was technical discussion 2 taken by the CEO of the company. So he first asked a simple 2D array question and asked me to explain the approach without code and the expected time and space complexity. So I gave him a linear time complexity solution with the big of n. So then he tweaked the question in such a way that it couldn't be solved in linear time. And now he asked me to code. So I initially tried to solve it using breadth first search approach, but it didn't work for all. It didn't work for all edge test cases. So after taking a moment, I came up with a backtracking solution, and it worked for all cases, and that went fine. And fourth round was a HR round, which went like a typical HR round. And the fifth one was a technical discussion 3 taken by another lead. He asked me about my previous project and so many questions, follow-up questions on that. And then he deep dived into a system design kind of question, like how can I build a scalable pipeline for a spam classifier chatbot system. He was just checking my approach, how I think and how I take the sources, that services, and build it. And he's just checking, and he don't have any exact solution, but he's just checking my approach. And yeah, that went fine, and I finally got the offer.
You mentioned you use LinkedIn and Naukri profile, you optimize it for the job opportunities, but in this transition like TCS to a new company, how this happened? I mean, these were the only platforms you got the interview calls, or you also looked for the referrals, or maybe reaching out to the hiring managers or recruiters directly over the LinkedIn or something? Like, did you follow all those things?
No, I haven't followed any methods. Like I haven't gone for any cold mails, and I haven't gone for any referrals, and I haven't applied through
career portals
as well, career portals as well. So the only thing I got like is, as I said, I optimized both my Naukri and LinkedIn profiles. I used only these platforms for job hunting, and I would say like 99% of calls came from Naukri itself. One of the key things to get interview calls daily is to keep your updating the resume daily on both the platforms, be it Naukri or LinkedIn. So what you can do is you can simply re-upload the same resume every time and tweak the key skills section, like adding a new skill or removing an existing one. If you do it daily, this helps your profile stay active and updated, and it gets pushed more frequently to the by the algorithm. So this helps to push every time whenever a new post, for any candidate, the hiring manager or anyone is looking for, our profile gets updated. Updated, and it will be viewed by them.
So with these daily changes, algorithm will feel that this is the guy who is looking for the change, right, very frequently.
And also one thing is like you have to maintain, for example, in Naukri, as I said, I receive 99% of the calls from Naukri, right? So there is a profile percentage, it will be showing there. So try to maintain it 100%. So it will ask you to upload a profile picture, and it will ask to give so many details like where you working currently or what is your college. Please try to update every minute detail. So make it as 100% so that it will be really helpful for the algorithm to push your profile.
All right. So I have just one last question, Charan. So I know like you started at TCS with 3.6 LPA, but then it moved to the higher one. But now you have switched, and specifically for the data engineer role, and cracked multiple offers. So at your experience level, how much these companies were ready to pay you? Like if you can give us that range based on the offers you got, what was that range they were ready to pay you?
Yes. So at my experience level of 3+ years, so I will say only for the fixed components, like without any variable pay or any stocks, I will just give the fixed component. Okay. At my experience level of 3+ years, for MNCs, anyone can expect around 14 to 15 LPA as a fixed component. Depends on what you get in your existing job. That is for MNCs. And for product-based companies, it can go up to 17 to 18 LPA fixed component. and in some cases it even can reach to 24 to 25 LPA fixed component,
Fixed one.
depending on your negotiation skills and the number of offers you already have in hand.
Great, awesome. I guess we good numbers for a 3 years of experienced candidate. So yeah, this is very insightful, Charan, and yeah, I think this is what I had to discuss with you, and your experience is definitely gonna help all the aspiring data engineers who are watching this, and how they can basically get or how they can move from the service based companies and crack the data engineer role in the good companies. So your experience is gonna be really helpful. So a very big thanks from my side and from the entire audience side that you came here and shared your wonderful experience with us.
Yeah, thank you, Shashank. I hope this one interview can help at least one candidate, who is going to switch into data engineering role or currently doing data engineering role.
So this is pretty much I had for all of you in this amazing podcast. I'm pretty sure you have enjoyed this entire conversation with Sai and how he was able to do this sort of transition from a service to good startup for data engineering role with amazing salary package. If yes, you find it motivating, informative, then make sure to give a like and share it with your fellow friends. If you are new to the channel, then make sure to hit the subscribe button as well and press the notification icon. And don't forget to enroll yourself in my upcoming GCP Data Engineering Mastery Bootcamp. It will be live classroom bootcamp, classes starting from 26th of April. We will deep dive into the services of GCP and we will build top quality projects around that one. So link has been given in the description. You can visit www.growdataskills.com and a very special discount offer for my YouTube family, GCP 30 for first 30 user. Do it right now and I will see you in the live classroom bootcamp.